Fuck, I don't like sobriety. This is gonna get weird.
Welcome to the G.N.A. Podcast, Games and Alcohol, where we can talk about stuff. Well, hopefully somebody gets drunk. I'm not getting sober, but it's all good. It's all good. We are doing a very tight cast. It's going to be, it's almost going to be like a mini-sode, only it's going to be full length. It's me and Microbrew. D, how you feeling?
Like, I need to have a lot to say because it's going to be me and you.
It's just a little older. Well,
you'll just ramble about stuff that doesn't make it, have a story that goes nowhere. And before the end of it, you're like...
Isn't that every episode, though? Like, we start talking about one
older.
thing, let's say, then we just continue, like, rampantly tangent onto something else, and next thing you know, we're talking about how to make biscuits in the oven without flour.
We derail like a high-speed train that goes way off tracks and realize that the wheels are still fucking working. We just kept going.
Yeah, I'd like to say,
like the forest.
I'd like to say that we derail like the bullet train in Japan, but that fucking thing hasn't killed a single person yet, or killed like only one person or some shit like that. It's like crazy. I think they over-engineered it. I think the guys from Volkswagen helped them out.
They do it right. Oh my God, nobody died.
Dude, when you just did that voice, it reminded me of epic rap battles in history. Of Hitler versus Darth Vader. Once you think I ride on my train? God damn, those are so bad. You seem a little stressed, Vader. They're so good, but they're so bad, but they're so good.
I like it.
So you turned me onto those. Dude, and Doctor Who versus Doc Brown. Oh man. Like that just, it's so terrible, but it's so good. And then people started picking up on that. Like they started doing their own rap battles, like Katniss Everdeen versus Hermione. Yeah. You seen that one? Oh, dude, it's actually got like, okay, you know that show Castle with Nathan Fillion? You know the daughter, the redhead, the daughter? She actually plays Hermione in that epic rap battle. It's actually, yeah, dude, yeah. Like it's actually pretty damn good. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's been some really good epic rap battles in history. Maybe I'll go down that rabbit hole after the show. I'll just start throwing on epic rap battles in history and just randomly go through it. It'll be friggin' awesome. Oh man. Well, I mean, we gotta get into actually what the show is, right? And we can't just sit here and ramble on all night, can we?
This is kind of like, we're getting better just rambling right off the bat. It's like, did you ever start the show?
I think I did. Did I do the whole intro thing? I'm pretty sure I said G.N.A. podcast at some point in time. Well, anywho, I guess the most important thing is, what does everybody drink? I, myself, am sober. I am drinking a Coke Zero, but now more delicious. Now more delicious. I just feel like there should be more to that statement. Now more delicious.
They just need to add the Coke.
Dude, if they would put cocaine
we'd
back
be a lot
in
more productive.
God,
I heard all the old stories growing. I used to get 50 days worth of work a day. I walked uphill both ways, and it's like, yeah, you were on fucking cocaine. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I would be too. Yeah, you may have thought you were walking uphill both ways. It just happened to be that you were climbing a mountain twice.
Yeah, it's like, after all that much cocaine, yeah, you were Superman.
Yeah, you didn't realize that you came down off the mountain. You didn't come down off the coke. You just came down off the mountain. Oh, man. What are you drinking, man?
I'm not being adventurous. I'm actually, because I bought a bunch of them. I haven't had a chance. I'm finishing up my box of Spencer, like I discussed, not the last show, but before it. So I'm just for the Trappist that I have left for Mass. Same thing last time. It's a 0.7% alcohol. Really fresh. It's a refreshing to about. It's nothing extraordinary. Kicking back and finish off the box.
Nice. Well, I actually had found, and I was planning to drink them tonight, but it just didn't turn out that way. I found two 120-minute IPAs under the table in my laundry room in a box full of trash. So I did not know that they were in there. So they're either aged to perfection or skunked beyond belief. One of the two.
Well, you try them and I would test some.
That's a good call. Daymok will drink anything. I just see myself with a snifter going, here, Daymok, hey, give this a try. Hey, come here, try this. It's alcohol. Give it a shot.
After what we've go well my anthrax, but whatever.
That was Robin Williams right there. You stole that from Robin Williams.
I did. I totally did. Like a robber baron.
Still amazing. God, that man. That man's a treasure.
He was.
Yeah, too bad he's gone, man. Like he just I think the only thing that kept him going was making other people laugh. I think that was literally just it. And I don't know. It just seems like he got to a point where he just he wasn't able. Like he had to put forward so much effort to make people laugh. It just wasn't as, I don't want to say natural for him, but just took more effort.
I think what it really was diagnosed nasty. I think I remember Robin when he saw what he was facing. Yeah, I mean, I'd hope he saw his. I don't want to already have while he was. If you read up on that,
let's be honest here, though. He could have gone on a really long time before anybody realized he had dementia.
True, for a little while.
I mean, he could have gone on a pretty long time, and then somebody probably would have been like, "Man, Robert's just there's something off about him today. I just don't know what it is. I mean, he's still really funny, but I don't know. I've never seen somebody sit there and cut the tip of their finger off with a butter knife like that. It's just really weird. It's it's all part of the gag. It's okay."
But he could have also pulled both a Reagan and a Biden and went and gone president. I mean,
it would have worked. It probably, shit. I know I would have voted for him twice.
At least he would have been funny.
Yeah. I mean, Reagan and Biden's been funny. Reagan was pretty funny. I mean, shit. Have you ever watched some of Reagan's old speeches?
Yeah.
Like literally, he'll be walking up to the stage and he'll be staring off into oblivion, not knowing what the hell is going on. Like you swear to God, he's having some sort of seizure. He gets behind the mic, the lights turn on, and bam, he's president.
Yeah. Well, what that was, he was an actor.
Yeah.
And so even when the dementia was starting to kick in, he saw those lights. I'm back. It was kind of focused. He was there. In fact, even became president, he was a bit off. The kind of that turn on for the camera type deal. And why I say that is not from personal, not young enough, but somebody that I know met him. He was campaigning. My dad. He actually met him in a restaurant. And I'm sure you've heard the story.
I have. And I put a little, go ahead.
But sat down and had a meal and chatted for a while. I won't get a whole story because I'm sure I have on the show before. Didn't take it with a grain of salt. That's what dad tells. But,
Actually, you haven't told this story on the show. I can really? Confidently say you have not, so please, by all means.
Then I gotta do it. Okay, so this is back in my dad's young, biker, long hair, beard, looking rugged. He's got his riding leathers, his motorcycle helmet, in red, but he was at an upscale restaurant. And being an upscale restaurant was because he was friends with he was friends with them. So he was sitting there chilling, eating a meal. And in pops, Reagan and his little entourage, Secret Service at the time that, for anybody that's campaigning to try to become president. And sure enough, Dad looks him dead in the eye, and how true this is, but I mean, Mom confirms it to a few family members, but looks him dead in the eye and goes, "Hey, Ron," which my dad's name is also Ron, "you're gonna give this country back his backbone or what?" Secret Service immediately pulled their guns, because he's a fucking biker, dressed up, standing right up, looking him dead in the eye and a drum like that. But, I mean, to his credit, although my parents aren't big fans of Reagan was like, no, put your guns away, put those away, whoa. And he actually did have an intelligent conversation, she sat down with a meal, actually had a full conversation with my dad, and my dad was pretty impressed with that, but he did seem a little bit off even then. Not to diss the guy, but you could tell there was something there before the dementia was more apparent.
Oh, yeah. Well, hindsight's always cool 20/20, man.
Yeah.
You can always look back on something and be like, oh, yeah, how do we miss those signs? I hate to get all grim here, but I worked with a guy at Willard, and I don't want to, I'm not name him, but I worked with the guy at Willard, and I mean, talked to the guy virtually every day. Sat down, had beers with him in the bar. He was a friendly guy. He was a good guy. In fact, the day of, that night before, I literally said, "Hey, man, I'll see you tomorrow." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, man." And I came in the next day to find out that he hung himself. And then after it happened, it was one of those, you look back on it and you're like, man, you know what? Yeah. I see it now. I can't believe I didn't see it before. But I think you just,
it seems like such an extreme thing.
You don't want to see it. You don't want to believe it, or you don't want to,
it's the cognitive dissonance.
You don't want to believe it. Pardon?
It's like, okay, there'll be little signs, but you're automatically just bolo. You just don't really stop back and go, yeah. But unless somebody makes him say really obvious out there, most of the time there are people that joke it just kind of rolls off the back. But you look at it, it wasn't just cognitive, and unless they make it blatant.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing is that this guy was he was just a good guy. He was always upbeat. He was always smiling, and just looking back on some of the things, it was just I always thought he was just a modest guy. He didn't really he worked at a ski resort, didn't really ski that much. Was there with his girlfriend. I think it was his girlfriend. But, they cleaned the place. And, it was just, I always thought the guy just never really had all that much money. So he never really had much stuff. That type of thing. He didn't get a snowboard or skis because he never really had much money. So he didn't do that. I'd see him grab a beer in the in the lodge, and I'd sit down and have a beer with him and stuff, and we'd learn bullshit. Dude was super intelligent. We would sit there like he was. You remember JR? Like how we would sit down and just talk about like black holes and quasars and like gravitational pull of planets and why the moon sticks around the Earth when we get so close to other planets and all that, like all this other bullshit that we just used to talk about all the time.
How can I forget, JR? I'm not that brain addled.
But I'm saying like those are the type of conversations I would have with this guy. You know, it was always super refreshing to sit down and chill out with him.
Dude, I just wanted to go on so many scientific tangents.
I know, right?
Like the moon's actually drifting away from the in a few million years, we'll no longer have full solar eclipse.
Okay.
Just tangent.
Yeah, but anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go grim on you. I was really more trying to focus on that whole, looking back, hindsight's 2020 thing. The thing with Reagan, it's like, well, yeah, something definitely seems off, but like in the moment, you're talking to the guy, and it's like it didn't quite click. Yeah, there's something wrong here. She's like, oh, that's who he is. Yeah, whatever.
Hindsight.
Negative.
To quote Megadeth.
Mutually assured destruction. Nice story. Call Reader's Digest.
Feeling cluster.
Like that's Countdown to Extinction. That was, man, I grew up on that.
One of my favorite albums.
Yeah, that and the Black Album from Metallica. The two big ones around that.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
nothing else matters.
Yeah, Metallica's got great music well before the Black Album, but like,
oh yeah,
I just remember.
Everything.
Yeah, I just remember Countdown to Extinction and the Black Album being like on repeat all the time, like just always playing.
Oh man, we used to kick John Kick the Gathering.
Yeah, man. Oh god, John Caron, that's a guy. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook. I think he's down in Florida. I gotta go just drive down and visit him. Just show up on his doorstep and be like, hey dude, what's up? Be like, hey. Like, yeah man, I borrowed this comic book from you a few years back. I thought I'd return it. Like a few years back, I mean like 35 years. Like yeah, something like that. I've hung on to it ever since. Actually, I've got to get in touch with the guy, and his name is John, and I don't know his last name, but his nickname is Bowser. And he's last time I saw him, he was up in Saratoga area, and I got to get in touch with him because I have his tablature book from Master of Puppets, and I have to return it to him. I literally, it was in bad shape when I got it, and it's moved a couple of times since, so it's in worse shape, but I've literally got it hermetically sealed right now in a plastic bin with one of those vacuum seal things so it can't get any worse. But I got to return it to him because I said I'd return it to him. I had his number, and then when I went back up north, I kept trying to call him, couldn't get in touch with him, and the number went out of service, and I'm like, son of a bitch, I can't get in touch with motherfucker. So I got to get in touch with that man and return that book to him. Well, yeah, so I started buzzing a couple of people, figuring, all right, one of them will know where he is. I'm like, hey, where's John Bowser? Like, oh, I don't know, man. I probably should, again, hindsight 2020, I probably should have asked what his last name was instead of just saying, hey, John Bowser, where is he? Because I know who I'm talking about when I say it. That's the problem, is that they know exactly who I'm talking about. So when I say that, they're like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen him in forever.
You know what? He goes by then Bowser.
Good call.
Maybe
that might be. Yeah, but that's on my bucket list. I got to return that to him before I croak. Because I borrowed it from him, and I said, yeah, man, I'll get it back to you. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, dude, I will get it back to you. And I have not gotten it back to him.
To go Graham, meanwhile, the angel of death.
Yeah. Yeah. There he is sitting behind me in the chair going, look, dude, you're running out of time here, man. So you best get the let out.
We're behind.
God, I've got so many stops to do after this. I'm waiting on you. Come on. We're waiting on you here. There's people at Mercy over here that I got to go pick up. I got to get you first, though. Come on.
It's like, what about Betty White? What do you think I'm fucking talking about here? Hurry!
You're the whole reason Betty White is still alive. I'm supposed to pick her up after you. Now, come on. Like, no, man, I got to return this book, dude. Sorry, man. I said I would. God, Jesus Christ. Now, I'm telling you, when she dies, either one of two things are going to happen when Betty White dies. Either she's going to die and nobody's going to know. Like, she's going to be so they're going to hide it so hardcore and nobody's going to know until years later. Somebody's going to be like, hey, where's Betty White? And somebody's going to be like, oh, yeah, she died. And everybody's going to be like, oh my God, Betty White died. And they're going to be like, yeah, 2 years ago. And they're like, oh, well, I mean, can I be sad still? It's been 2 years. I think 2 years is enough time to grieve somebody, right?
Or to bring quantum physics to it, right? There's some weird, going away from the actual, a little bit more philosophical. People start to go. They say for our universe might exist as a conscious, an observer. You observe quantum, they collapse the function wave, or the wave function. Sorry, I'm getting wave function. What if the observer for our universe is Betty White? She goes, fucking rest of us.
So basically, what you're saying is she's the watcher.
Yes.
All right. I mean, I'm okay with that as long as she can't interfere with human interaction. I'm fine.
When's the last time she really stirred the pot or fucked something?
You're right. She doesn't.
I can't think of anything.
She's
just
really
always there.
Yeah,
but she's always there. She's in shows. She's in there. She's always somewhere.
Yeah.
She's always popping up. but has she ever really stirred a pot or really think
Yeah,
about
you're right. You're absolutely right, man. Well, State of Games, we got to kick into that at some point in time.
we have to actually kind of,
actually have to do a show here.
Yeah.
State of Games is where we talk about what we've been playing for the past week, or we just pontificate on how we feel gaming is right now. So State of Games. What's your State of Games there, Haas?
Well, I have some more of, I do enjoy it, so I'll play that.
How's the music to that?
I like, they updated it, but they're richer.
So I've heard good things about it.
I'm really enjoying it. It kept like some similar graphic, but then it's updated in the background to be a little bit better, like in the background. It's nicer, but didn't deviate too far from their own graphics. Like, well, that's not PlayStation Advance ones. They started to get
where they updated the sprites. You're right. Yeah.
Do that as the sprites a little, but updated a lot of the background. Looks really nice.
Oh, good.
So the graphics are enough, very pleasant, nostalgic. It's the same. They didn't just carbon copy a fucking ROM rip for
Yeah, they didn't do a port of it. They actually did a good job.
So, and with the updated, richer, more like how they originally envisioned them, but yeah, limited as cartridges. I think this is a richer. So I'm enjoying tiny little, they're not that different than tiny little, few more items that may have not been in like a Phoenix Down that wasn't here. But, like I said, that last show, the Silver Sword. But other than very minor things, a lot of fun. I've been playing the East 9 game, been playing that. I'm enjoying that. I love the East 8, Lacrimosa, just playing around.
Nice. Got
a little excited. Did you catch the Nintendo Direct yesterday?
I did not.
Well, what released on Nintendo after the Nintendo Direct released on the East was Castlevania Advance Collection. Mm-hmm. So it's got the trilogy, the 3 Game Boy Advance Castlevania games, kind of like Stay the Night, plus a Dracula export. Mm-hmm. Very nice.
I saw that. So it's actually released on Steam too.
Yep. And then they also, that I think they dig, so it's a remaster of Actraiser.
I saw that as well. I actually, you got to jump into the lounge every now and then. We were talking about both of those in the lounge.
I know, I'm just working so much. By the time I try to catch up on the lounge, I scroll.
It's all good.
Yeah, Actraiser, I need to keep it more.
Actraiser is probably one of my favorite Super Nintendo games, and mostly because it married in two different genres together, which was city building and side-scrolling.
But did it well.
Yeah. Yeah, they did it well. They didn't do it where it was like just mashed together and it was like, all right, we're going to make this work. They actually did it very well in the Super Nintendo. And I saw the graphics on this new remaster. They look amazing. The only gripe that I have is that they look a little bit, they look a little bit like, like Darkest Dungeon and like South Park where it looks like paper on top of a background.
Yeah,
it looks a little bit like that, and I don't know whether
so
it was
almost
just
like the cell shaded graphic a little bit.
It's not cell shaded. It's a different thing. It's just like the movements of everything. It looks the sprites and everything look very, very rigid and don't look like they move very well. It's
over
hard
the
to
background. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. The only thing I can explain it is like the early South Park stuff where people would walk around or they'd move and everything was very stiff. Or the Darkest Dungeon, if you've played the Darkest Dungeon, or there was an old one called, I think it was like Adventure Quest or something like that. And it was like, it reminds me of the Flash-based animation.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm talking about. But I don't know whether it was just the pre-release video and stuff, or if it's going to look or feel or play better. That was my only gripe, but everything else, I loved about Actraiser.
Plus, they have the score, plus music. They added more bosses, and I actually described it. I haven't found in the article for kind of describe it as a side scroll with the building / defense, because you kind of it's almost like a bar defense.
Yeah, because you got to shoot them. You got to roam around and shoot the arrows with the angel. So but once you clear out each one of those monsters,
they don't come back.
They don't come back. Yeah. So Actraiser was a very, very fun game. I actually still have Actraiser on Super Nintendo. Fun fact: I still have Actraiser on Super Nintendo because when I moved away, I can't remember whether it was when I moved to Ballston Spa or I moved down here. You gave it to me.
Oh yeah.
You gave me Actraiser. Because I had Final Fantasy IV or Final Fantasy II and Final Fantasy. I had SimCity, which those are some of my top 3. I had Jurassic Park, and you knew that I liked playing Actraiser because I would rent it from the Salem Farm Supply like every chance I got until I beat the hell out of it. So yeah, and just fun fact on that one. Yeah, the Castlevania, that Castlevania collection, if you have not played the Game Boy Advance ones, if you just for some reason didn't get a chance to, that is the collection to pick up because they were fantastic. They came after Symphony of the Night and they kept up with that Metroidvania formula. They felt good. They played good. They were really just, they were good stories, especially with, I don't want to give away the twist, but I think it was Aria of Sorrow. that the first
the
one?
that was no REF's the first one.
That was it.
Then it was
Circle of the
Harmony
Moon.
of Then it was Harmony of Dissonance and REF's.
Yeah, so in Circle of the Moon, you play as a specific character, and the storyline in Circle of the Moon is like it unfolds just like Symphony of the Night in the same fashion, not the same story, but unfolds in the same fashion. But the twist that you get at the end, like it was something I never expected out of a Castlevania game, and when it happened, I went, "Damn, that's good!" Oh, I did not expect that. Like playing Symphony of the Night. I played enough games. I've watched enough movies. Things get very predictable after a while.
It was straightforward. There was nothing shocking about the game. Yeah. Other than the fact it was a hell of a lot of fun.
It was great. It was fun. The mechanics of it were fun. And I always say it doesn't matter. Like a majority of the game doesn't matter as long as the gameplay is fun. As long as the mechanics are entertaining to me, I will play it for a long time. And Symphony of the Night is that way. It's all the weapons that you can unlock, the different combinations that they had in there, the shield
I'm still playing
mace.
it.
Yeah, dude, like the shield mace. You know how many hours I had into that game before I found out that the shield mace, if you coupled it with a shield, gave you a special power that did some weird shit.
It was so cool.
Dude, I was hundreds of hours into that game before I found out about that. Hundreds.
I still love the first time we played it. I brought it over, taking turns.
Oh, yeah. God, that game was so much fun. Yeah, that was definitely good.
I was pretty happy that I was able to get a copy of, back then, brand new, I was actually able to get a copy of Sorrow when because, of course, where was I in 2003 when it got released?
Getting shot at
in the desert in Iraq. I got back, I'm like, hey, I found one.
Yeah, those Game Boy Advance ones really did. They just nailed... They nailed the Metroidvania formula. It was, as I said, it was right after Symphony of the Night, and they just kept up with that formula because it worked. I mean, just downright it worked. And they, to be perfectly honest, looking at the games from a 30,000-foot view, the mechanics of them are virtually identical. Like the feel of the games, virtually identical. You just put a different character that you're controlling in there, but still, everything about the game feels like Symphony of the Night. But that's the best part is that Symphony of the Night is so good, just the mechanics of it and how the game plays, that they could do that, and nobody cared.
Also, size of allowed for all the different PG, and you can, now I've got Holy Water, or now I've got just good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the thing that drives me nuts is that, this is just me thinking, but they coined the term Metroidvania, okay? Tell me something that you do in Castlevania Symphony of the Night that you didn't do in the original Metroid for NES. That's it!
You had save codes.
That's it! Save point. That's it. That's the only thing that they added in. So it always drives me nuts when they talk about Metroidvania, and it's like, no, it's just Metroid, man. It's just Metroid.
But it worked.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, it worked smashingly. And I'm perfectly happy calling it Metroidvania because Metroid 2 on Game Boy, Super Metroid, they nailed it. They really did well. It's still my top game. Like seriously, dead 100%. It's still my top game to this day.
It's in the drawer right there, ready there.
But Castlevania Symphony of the Night, they extended it out, and they, even though they didn't do anything that Metroid didn't do, I'm perfectly happy calling it Metroidvania because they figured out the what to add to the formula, what little thing, with consumables. There we go. That's something that you didn't have in consumables. So I'll give that to them. They didn't have consumables. But yeah, there was just the Castlevania collection, and it's only I think it's is it $29.99 or is it $19.99?
No, $19.99 for that. ActRaiser, Renaissance.
ActRaiser, yeah, dude, $19.99 to play those games.
That's a good deal.
Worth it, hands down.
$30. Oh, ActRaiser, but it is a remake.
So it's a remaster versus the collection, which I'm assuming, and I haven't looked too deeply into it. I'm assuming that the Castlevania ones are more ports than they are
remasters. Did I use you or did you use me?
I don't know. Can you still see me? I can still see you.
Oh, wow. And it just caught up. I just heard... just caught up. So I don't know if it was me or you, but I was like, he's dead. He's frozen.
Well, I heard you the whole time. So say you were there the whole time. I didn't miss a beat with you. But yeah, check out Castlevania. Another update that actually came out. Are you still playing No Man's Sky by any chance?
I actually haven't been at all.
So No Man's Sky came out with another update.
Well, because the HDMI port, chip back there with the HDMI and the display, mine's been acting really funky, kicking out, and then eventually I get it to kick out again and display, and then it dies. I have to keep doing these little tricks, and after a while, I've been looking. I still got to finish a bunch again. It's acting up so bad that
that sucks.
It's that failure of the HDMI, and mine's been, and I haven't been able to find haven't finished 7 Sky.
Well, No Man's Sky just released a new update. And, I was trying to figure out what the hell they were going to add to the game this time around. They've got base management now. Like, it's not just base building. You'll go and find an outpost out there, become overseer of it, and then you got to keep them all happy, build onto it, all this other shit. Dude, Hello Games, like, I'm waiting for them to stop. Like, they have to still be selling this game because otherwise, what are they just doing? They're like, yeah, we sold a shit ton and we're just riding that cash flow. That's it.
At this point, is it that or is this a front? I mean, seriously.
Maybe it's a mob front. Maybe they're just laundering money through Hello Games.
But in the meantime, they have to keep it looking legit, building more and more games. And it's like,
well, the thing is, they're not building more. They're building more onto this damn game. Like they just keep feeding into it, and it's not like, dude. Okay, look, I bought No Man's Sky. God, how many times now? I've probably bought it 4 times at least because I bought it for PlayStation, I bought it for Xbox, I bought it for PC, and then I know I've bought it for at least one person. I probably bought it for more people, and I can almost guarantee I did not pay less than full price each time.
You know, I'm one. I've gone over how long is an actual reality, like a Boltzmann brain? How long before they actually create a fucking universe with people believing they were real inside of it?
Dude, they've got VR for it, so I mean, it's not that it's plausible.
But speaking of updates, beware. There's that PS4 update that bricks your.
I read about that. I didn't see how many people it was affecting, but I did read that there was a PS4
large
update.
So it's like there's a bunch that it is. There's a bunch that it's like it's kind of all.
Well,
it doesn't apply to me because mine.
I was gonna say it doesn't apply to me because I don't have a PlayStation. It's one of those, hey, no brain, no pain type of thing.
But I am sure No Man's Sky creator.
And I keep talking about them on this show. And I do like the game, but I mean, look, I honestly haven't played it in probably the past 2 months at all. I fired it back up just to see like, oh, hey, there was a new update. I kept seeing updates coming out for it because I haven't installed because for some odd reason I have delusions of grandeur that I'm going to sit down and play that game for hours. I never do. So it's installed. I just don't play it. And I kept seeing it get updates. So I'm like, oh shit, I remember reading about the update. Well, let me go see what it is. Jump right in, go into my ship, fly out into space. Hey, you got a distress signal. All right, well, that's got to be the new update. So let's go see what it is. I land, like, hey, sentinels are attacking. Holy shit, sentinels are attacking. And there's a lot of them. I'm like, all right, it's okay. This save, I've got 80 some odd hours, so I'm pretty decked out. I can take out whatever's coming at me. So next thing I know, hey, those sentinels killed the overseer. They did? Hey, you want to be the overseer? I don't know, do I? You want to be the overseer. I want to be the overseer. Next thing you know, I'm looking at my base and it's like, yeah, they're 10% happy. And the base is, I'm like, what the fuck? I got to do what now? I gotta pander to these people?
You've got a job now.
God damn. I honestly, if it wasn't so late when I fired it up, I was just going to jump in my ship and orbital bombard them until they were done and be like, yeah, well, there goes that colony. Moving on to the next one. But yeah, it's,
you all look a little stressed. Let me jump into my ship.
Exactly. God, yeah, they're, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they've updated a couple of minor things too, because when I was busting open, asteroids in space, the volumetric, like, shit, smoke and everything else of just it busting open just seemed better. And it wasn't dropping my frame rate, which it was before. So, they definitely made some optimisms. I'm not saying that the game is optimized great or whatever, but they've definitely made some improvements. They're definitely making it nice.
Look, there's Alderaan. And it's gone. Oh,
dude. God, that reminds me. And this is something that I was thumbing through, I think Reddit on one of the Star Wars things. And oh no, it was a science thing. Sorry. And they were talking about the down, like this, they never thought about this, but this is the downside of extra light travel or hyper light travel. It had Luke and Leia. They were laying down on a planet and they were just staring up at the stars. And Luke says, "You're quiet. Is everything okay?" And Leia points to the sky and says, "I can still see it. The light from it. It's almost like if I keep flying in that direction, that I'll find and I'll make it there. But I know that it's just the light hasn't reached this planet yet." And she's talking about Alderaan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit! I never thought about that.
It's true. That would be, you watch something blow up, zip along and be like, just like when you stare into the galaxy, those things are long gone.
Yeah, the light just hasn't reached us yet. And it was really wild to think of that, of like, man, like, so thinking of like Star Trek or some shit like that when Kronos got destroyed or Vulcan or whatever, they warp out of there and they make it to a different spot in the galaxy or a different spot altogether. The light hasn't reached there. The light is still going there. So, Spock could be sitting there going, well, yeah, look, there's the light from Vulcan right there. That's just, it's depressing, one, but it's wild to think about. Like, that's a downside of faster than light travel that I didn't think of.
Well, think like if aliens like a few galaxies, I forget the distance, but you go like so many light years, like several galaxies, they would be looking at Earth and see dinosaurs, even for light. So much.
Yeah. It was a thought about faster than light travel that it never occurred to me. But then once like I saw that, I was like, holy crap, yeah, that's right. Because if you're traveling faster than light, the light from there wouldn't have reached wherever you are now. So you're staring up at it. It's to you, it's still there. It's still looking like it's there. It's just really wild. One of those mind-blowing things from a freaking comic.
On a sad note, Ewoks.
Okay, I'll bite. Why?
Well, besides all the stabbity death, it was only the fact they thought she was a god that saved. They had to get Leia. How else would they, unless they already killed him when Leia saw?
That's a good
They
call.
went through some people. They went through some people, man. They're not the first to disappear on the planet with Ewoks.
That's a good call.
And those clothes weren't worn by stormtroopers, so it's not like they were just fighting with the stormtroopers.
Or their seamstresses were there going like, crap, we got to make this thing quick. Look at the size of her. I never made anything this size. We'll wing it.
Pretty good for winging it,
I
man.
know, it did look pretty good for winging it. I got to admit, it did look pretty good for winging it.
Those little furry bastards, are they cute or something?
I'm still trying to figure out where the hell Jabba got the metal bikini for her. It's not like he just had that lane. That was pretty custom fit to her.
He's a crime lord. He has an entire
so what,
people
he has
under his employ
sweatshop?
Why not? Who else is going to do? He's got all that just thrown. His throne drives forward, moves back, lets you drop into the... You got to have a mechanic machine. Desert world. He's not like you're going to go to the store. It's like, yeah, I need some more parts. They're fabricating shit.
That's a good call. But you know what? That's one of the things you never really saw. You never saw the machine shop of Jabba's palace.
Well, it's not like he gave us a tour. He was trying to fucking free Han Solo and drop, Luke to get eaten. I mean, hey guys, over here we have our machine shop. Over here, a grocery store. Over here's a nice little game store. And oh, by the way, stand right there. Ha ha ha! Bye. I mean, it's not like he gave the whole tour, and he's gone.
No, but even just you don't think about this. Like, I guess I don't think, but seriously, where. I mean, he had to have a full staff on board to do that shit. And it's not like, that metal bikini, it didn't look like it was parts put together. It looks like that was one cast piece. So, gotta give him props there.
Our staff, free shapes and job. And
right?
Yeah, to have homes and houses. I think just lost.
Oh, yeah, Craig decided to bow out. It's all right. Craig does the best. But yeah, so I mean, we actually had a topic for tonight, and I guess I should probably bring it. And the topic specifically is exclusivity with gaming. And everything from, we're talking exclusives, just exclusives in general. Going back as far as Nintendo and Genesis, all the way up through Epic Games and all of that crap. I was reading an article. And the thing that sent me down this path was, I was reading an article about the CEO of Epic, and he was talking about exclusives. I'm paraphrasing his quote because I don't have it in front of me. I should, because, this is a show. Might as well try to be added on something. But he had said something along the lines of, exclusives are not popular, but they work. And it was just one of those comments of all right, well, when you say they work, that means that you're making money. Or it's driven people to your game front, your game store? Like what does it mean work? Because I'll be perfectly honest. I have an Epic account. I do not have the Epic Loader installed. I think I've installed one game from Epic forever ago, and I think it was Fortnite on my computer, and then I nuked it, and then I removed it, and I haven't ever since. However, I do jump onto the Epic store, and I claim the free games every week. So I've got a whole library of games on Epic that I have never played, and I have no intent of playing. But for some reason, it's like collecting your dailies in whatever game you're in. It's I know it's an impulse. I gotta go do it. I gotta go click this button. Okay, I click the button.
Just think back to the Final Fantasy, and I bought the game. So, God, we love those games. You're not going to say, if you have limited and say, I really love, you're going to buy the platform, those games, because if it's same games on every platform, say whatever's available, how do you gauge their game? Because if you have this, we have every platform, going to Epic, Horizon Zero Dawn, a bunch of those games. And of course, Microsoft, they also have online for all the Microsoft, got Microsoft along with their console. At this point, stuff's on Epic, PlayStation. Yeah, and now you got now you got all that. It's hard to get fuck it.
Well, so that's kind of where my thought process kind of stemmed from all this of when the CEO of Epic said they're unpopular but they work. So I think back to actually that exact example that you were talking about with Final Fantasy VII. So Final Fantasy VII you could only get on the PlayStation, and that drove a lot of people to the PlayStation because Final Fantasy VII was a great game. It's not my favorite of the Final Fantasies, but I still feel it's a great game, especially at the time. Graphics wise, everything blown in 3D, the FMVs of them, it was good. Especially for the time, it was really good. And I can understand, and my thought process goes down the line of when it was a very single player world. And by single player, I mean one location, one device. You played it at your house. You know, it wasn't so global as gaming is today. But it was a single player world. Exclusives in my mind, yeah, they do work. Because just like you bought a PlayStation. You bought the game before you even had a PlayStation. And I know that there was a lot of people who bought Xbox to play Halo. And it works. It absolutely does work. But now, like, in today's age where gaming is much more of an institution, and gaming in general, you can play games that you used to need a whole system to play on this little thing you carry around in your pocket.
And I think now to buy very often.
Yeah.
As opposed, and I just realized something. My audio is not too jacked up, man.
Oh, you didn't have your headphones on?
Yeah, and I was, talking, and then I noticed how as you were talking, seeing it on my Audacity go across the mic.
I noticed that. I wasn't too worried.
Okay, as long as you're not.
Well, is what it is, man. But yeah, so like, and we actually had this conversation, Daymok and I think it was on one of the podcasts about, maybe it wasn't, maybe it's just in chat, about Aliens Fireteam Elite and how they won't have crossplay. They've released it for Xbox, PlayStation, PC. I mean, it's all over the place, but they didn't release it, and they said they have no intention for crossplay. And of course, that made Daymok go, well, it's going to be a dead game after 6 weeks, which honestly, I agree. I think the lack of crossplay is going to kill it, because you're going to get the honeymoon period people where there's a whole lot of people who bought it and started playing it. And it's a fun game, but it's a short game. And after you really get through the campaign portion of it, unless you just really want to max out all the weapons, there's not a lot of reason to go back and play it. So you're going to lose a lot of players there. So it's going to reduce your player base. And if you've got 3 different player bases, i.e. Xbox, PlayStation, PC, well, those 3 player bases are going to eventually dwindle their way down to, you're probably playing with the same group of 10 or 12 people every time you go out and look for blueberries, unless you got a team of your. So I actually agree with Daymok that it's going to die quicker than normal because of no crossplay. And even major gaming companies are doing crossplay now. So like Destiny 2. I had always had Destiny 2 or actually all Destiny and Destiny 2 all on PlayStation. Eventually when I got an Xbox and then it came out on PC, I'd spent so much time playing Destiny that I was like, look, I got to throw more money at them because I definitely got my money's. So I bought it again. I probably spent a good $400, $450 on Destiny alone, just through expansions, getting it on different systems. But now I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, crossplay's available. I have it on PC. I can just buy the expansions and stuff on PC. I don't need to buy it. If I get a PlayStation again or I get an Xbox, I don't need to buy it on either. I can just play it on PC. And with the Steam Deck coming out first quarter of next, I'll be able to play it on that. So,
which I've got that, so I'm looking forward to it.
I am so amped for that. But that brings off to mind of like the exclusivity of things. And to be perfectly honest, there are games that have gone. Well, I'll call them out, like Borderlands 3 went exclusive on Epic Store. Epic made a huge deal about it. Oh, Borderlands 3 is going to be exclusive on Epic for a year. And once I said it, I said, you know what? I'm not supporting that. Like, now I'm not saying Steam is the best company in the world. Not by any means. However, if you want to publish on Steam, you publish on Steam. If you don't want to publish on Steam, you don't publish on Steam. Gabe Newell doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. Plenty of other shit that's on Steam. If you don't want to go there, okay, fine. If you want to go there, okay, fine. I mean, Steam has some exclusives, like I think Counter-Strike and Half-Life and all that stuff, but they're literally made by Valve. Like, Valve made those games. So they're like, yeah, this is our games on our launcher. Here you go.
Our platform, our game.
Yeah, it's like, here you go, guys. But that's the thing of like, Epic, and I understand why Epic did it. Epic came to the market because they're like, we got to get in the market. We've got to do everything we can. We got to claw, scratch, bite. We got to do everything we can to get a market share. Yeah, and that's what they did.
There's already on
one
launch. Like, why even this was, I think, help them.
No, they did
initially more of a market. Yeah, in the end, I'm just not sure. Like, a lot of the game made a lot of money. You all compounded it. You produce PS5, right? Who the fucking get?
Yeah,
almost nobody. If you make it exclusive PS5, not only off to one platform, you're cutting out the. But it's like the only people that have mountains of these fucking PS5s are the fucking scalpers. What he's buying, right? It's like, hey, 10 people over there, you want to buy my game? I mean, I think these shortages are going to bite some in the ass.
Absolutely.
Too.
Well, one of the things that I think exclusives still work for are single player games where they worked in the past, like Final Fantasy VII. I think for single player games, exclusivity has a role. But doing exclusives for like Borderlands 3, which is a co-op, like Borderlands has always been a co-op game. Yeah, you can play it single player, but it's shit. I remember getting the first Borderlands on PS3, and me and Cisco Kid were sitting down split screen to playing that thing and going through every last bit of content in that game and cranking through it, having a great time. And even Borderlands 2, co-op game, sit down, you play. So when Borderlands 3 came out, it's like, we're exclusive with Epic Store. You've got to buy it from here if you want to play it. I'm going, I guess I just don't want to play. I don't want to support that. Now, if anybody else is listening and they want to support that, I'm fine with it. Everybody should speak with their wallets, support what they say. I always say, don't pre-order dick. Don't pre-order anything because you're supporting whatever. And you know what? I've changed my mind a little bit. I think you should pre-order the people that you want to support.
Yeah, like you love, you're going to pre-order Final Fantasy Special Edition, like me.
Whether you're a fan of the series, the company, whatever it may be, or just a person. Like, for instance, Metal Gear Solids. When they were coming out, I would pre-order the hell out of those because I was like, I'm going to play this game. I want this game. I'm going to play it. Here's actually a kind of humorous one. The Kingdom Hearts series. I love the Kingdom Hearts series. Since I played it over at Gur's house forever ago. Love it. Absolutely love it. I have Kingdom Hearts 3 up here still in its plastic because I pre-ordered it. I bought it, paid full price, have not played it yet. I'll play it eventually. Haven't played it yet. But I wanted to throw money at them because I want that series to keep coming out. I want that series to, so yeah, I'm going to pre-order the hell out of that.
But it was like when it first Square saw,
but it works.
It works so well.
It so works.
So when I said pre-ordered, got it, it works. It's fun.
Dude, I knew nothing about that game. And then one day when I'm working at Willard, Gur worked up, got a job there. We were just chilling out, talking. He was like, yeah, why don't you come over? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I literally stopped by his house. And of course, there's me, this 20-year-old dude showing up at this, I think he was 17 at the time. Might have been 18. I think he was 17. Showing up at this 17-year-old dude's house. There I am. Hey guys, how you doing? 6.5 foot, 20-some-year-old guy. And they're just looking at me like, this guy's giving them weed or buying them beer. One of the two. I wasn't doing either one. I just came over to hang out and we were playing video games.
Meanwhile, girls were like,
oh yeah. No, he's taller than 5'8", isn't he? I don't know.
I know he's short. He's considerably shorter than like 5'11".
Well, honestly, everybody who's shorter than me, I have no clue what height, honest. I've been calling my wife like 5'10" for the last decade, and she's like, no, I'm like 5'4". I'm like, shit, you are?
Yeah, she's much shorter than I am.
It's like, holy shit.
You're like, oh, they're just little people now.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I don't worry myself with the little people. They're all the same height to me.
4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, yeah, whatever.
No, but I went over to Gur's house, and I was just like, he was just like, yeah, you ever played Kingdom Hearts? And I'm like, what the hell is this? So, I'm sitting there reading the package, and I had the exact same thought that you did. I'm sitting there looking at it. Square, Mickey? Is that Goofy and Donald Duck? What is this? Is that Ares from friggin' Hercules? What the hell is this? And I literally was like, this is gonna be the dumbest shit. But I'm like, hey, you know what? Hey, let's not be that guy. Let's check it out. He fired it up. He started playing. I'm like, this game is fun as hell. And I think I borrowed it
did have some depth to it. It's like it was too at the same time.
Yeah, there was so much going on with that storyline. And you play the first game, you don't even realize half the stuff that's going on. And then as you start, like, you beat the first game, and then you play Chain of Memories. Or even better, do what I did. Where you play the first game, you play the second game, you start off as Roxas, and then you wake up Sora, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Then you go back and play Chain of Memories, and you're like, holy crap, I missed a lot.
That's what I did. I went first, second.
Oh my God. I was sitting there. I played Chain of Memories, and as I got through it, I mean, keep in mind, Chain of Memories was a vastly different style of game because it was a card game, basically.
Yeah, it was the card, but
I didn't quite care for that system. I still played it because I was like, I got to play this. And then when I found out after I beat it the first time, which I'm going to be honest, was pretty grueling because I didn't like the system. Loved the story, did not like the system. But then when I found out that you could play through it a certain way and then play through it in reverse as Riku, I'm like, son of a bitch. So there I am playing through it again, just so I could get to play as Riku in the reverse. And once you play that, the beginning of the second game makes so much more sense. And all the people, like the different people that you meet in the second game, make so much sense. Like you're fighting Axel and he's talking about knowing you, and you're like, who is this guy?
Do I have amnesia? Is this what's going on?
Why does he know me and I don't know him? I'm gonna kill him anyways, but there's gotta be some explanation coming. But yeah, those Kingdom Hearts games, freaking. But and like for single player games, I think that they definitely hold something for exclusives because, I mean, honestly, I probably would not go get another PlayStation if there weren't some single player exclusives. On the flip side, if there were only multiplayer exclusives coming out, and like that's what they were getting exclusives of, I would probably be like, you know what? I don't think I want to back this, because that's why I'm not backing Epic. And it's just like, why? You're literally
fan of
you're only hurting the customers at that point in time with exclusive on a multiplayer game.
But I mean, yeah, or like an action. Of course, you got the Zeldas.
Yeah, like Mario, Metroid. Like I get that, and to be perfectly honest, I have skipped whole generations of like the N64. There wasn't really a lot of games. Like I like Mario. I don't like Mario that much. I know Mario 64 is a great game. I don't like Mario that much. In fact, I didn't really care for Zelda when they switched over to 3D. So it was like one of those, there's no real like thing for me to go get that. I got the Wii because just like everybody else, I love the motion controls. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting a Wii.
Fun as hell. The game that it came packed in, the best. I would thing ever.
Still play Wii bowling right now. If somebody had it hooked up, hell, if I had it hooked up, I would literally fire it up and go play Wii bowling.
We have it hooked here.
Dude, yeah, next time I drive up that way, I should. Well, no, not next time. Next time, I'm actually going to be climbing a mountain to spread ashes. So won't be that time. Time after that, though. Definitely got to make it up that way and spend more than just a night over it. Go over, spend a weekend or something. Eat all your food, drink all your beer.
Adam decided to just runs up, whips his arm, like whips it super hard, hit, overdoes it, like 1,000%, pull out of the pole, goes straight up, pulled this, and he's like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be gone. Hole in one. I was like, no fucking way, asshole.
Nice.
And then we found a way to like sit on the couch and pull motions with tiny on the couches.
Oh yeah, everybody did. Great. But yeah, man, like I got the Wii because, and there really wasn't even, well, actually, you know what? Prime came out on the Wii. No, Prime came out on the GameCube. What came out on the Wii? There was a Metroid that came out on, not the RAM. Was it Prime 2?
Yeah, it was one of the Primes, but then
maybe that came out. I just remember something for Metroid coming out on Wii that I was like, oh yeah, I gotta grab this. Wii U I skipped, but the Switch, the Switch was a no-brainer.
That thing's addicting. I gotta admit, I love the Switch. Even though I don't always like things as practice.
Yeah, agreed.
I fucking love the Switch.
But here's the only thing. I've spent so much time trying to hack the Switch to turn it into like a Steam Link so that I could play Steam games from my couch on my Switch. And I've gotten pretty close a couple of times, but then just hasn't been worth it. Then Valve comes out and says, hey, you know all you guys, every single one of you who've been complaining that you want like a Switch-like device that you can play all your Steam games from on your couch? Yeah, we're looking at you, Cecil. Well, we made it. Here it is, dude. It's coming out. Dude, the moment I saw that coming out, it went on pre-order. I'm clicking as fast as I can. I'm on my phone, on my computer. I'm like, one of these is going to accept it, and one of these is going to accept it now. Like, seriously, that one just spoke directly. Like, I swear to God, Gabe Newell was just like, God, this random asshole's just got this podcast, talked about me sucking people's dicks. Yeah, it keeps talking about a Switch device for Steam. Yeah, we're going to make that. Yeah, but nobody else is talking about it. I know, but this guy is. So we're going to make it. That's how I felt. Because
he's like, I'm going to make it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I've seen a bunch of people like hacking Nintendo Switches to put Steam Link on, put Android on it, and basically put NVIDIA Shield and all that crap, or Shadowplay, put a whole bunch of stuff on it. I've just been like, man, I just want to play my Steam library. I don't care if my computer's running in back. I just want to play my Steam library from a Switch. So I'm boss with that.
Back with it.
And I know there's probably like thousands of people who have said the same thing as me, but I have not heard or met any one of those 1,000 people. So when the Steam Deck was announced, I was like, holy crap, the dude listens to the podcast. He's got to. There's no way he's doing this and not listening to this damn podcast.
What about you, man?
Yeah. I actually was looking around like, shit, did they put another friggin' bug in the room? Or did they put him on me? Crap. Yeah, that was it.
Well, you thought that was an abduction. It really wasn't. See?
That reminds me of a great joke. I actually pulled on my boss. Well, he didn't realize I was pulling it on him, but I pulled it on him. We went to a business partners like forever ago. And, my boss was one of those guys that just runs around. Always moving, always talking, always shaking, always networking. And I'm more of the, I'm going to chill out. Whoever's around me, I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to make good friends with them so that like when we leave there, they're going to be like, hey man, let me grab your number. And then I still talk to them years later, that type of guy. So, my boss was the type of guy that everybody knew him because he talked to everybody. So like everybody knew him because he talked to everybody. So like I'm sitting there and we're at one of the conferences and I'm there and my boss had shown up and then, promptly got up and started networking. And, one of the guys was sitting there goes, hey, where's your boss? And I said, geez, you know what? I don't know. The 2 bugs I put on him aren't tracking him anymore. And he's like, what? 2 bugs? And I said, yeah, I put 2 bugs on him. One in his ear and one up his ass. Getting the one in his ear was really difficult. And I would deadpan right there, and I would go back to writing or doing whatever I was doing. And every time I said that joke, and I told like 3 times that weekend, every time I said that joke, the person would stop and stare at me for a second. And there would be a good 10 seconds before they realized I told the joke. And I would, like, as soon as they started laughing, I would just start grinning uncontrollably, because it was just, I would say it so dead serious and so deadpan it that they just were like, wait a minute, is he serious? Because I would literally, I'd pick up, I had a Droid X at the time. I'd pick up my phone and I'd go, yeah, the trackers I put on them, they're not tracking. I'm sorry. Like, trackers? Yeah, I put 2 trackers on them. Yeah, one in his ear and one up his ass. Yeah, the one in his ear was really complicated. What? And I still laugh to this day at that joke. I think I've tried to use it a couple times. I just never found the right place to slap that joke in.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, dude, you know what? That's a game I played, because I wasn't on the show last week. I finally played and beat South Park Stick of Truth.
Oh, nice.
I gotta say, that game was genuinely, it was
better than it would.
You know what? My only gripe is that the game was very, and there were some repetitive parts in some of the attacks, like you had to do this specific things to make the attacks happen. And I was even okay with that. They just got a bit repetitive by the end. But like, I loved killing Kenny with that damn unit. I would screw up on purpose just to kill Kenny with a car, because Kenny kept coming back. That's something I loved about it. Like, every other character you had with you, they would die. And then you were like, screwed. Oh crap, I got a dead person. Now I gotta finish this fight alone or revive him with taco. And I'm out of tacos. Kenny, just like, all of a sudden rats would come, tear him apart, drag him away. And you're like, well, that was vicious and uncalled for. Like 20 seconds later, he just walks back on the screen. Like, what?
A good one though.
Yeah, I gotta give it to them. They definitely played off South Park very well. And the game was just genuinely, it had the RPG elements fit, the different parts, the exploration fit, even the little 8-bit thing that they did where you went to Canada, it just seemed to fit. So I gotta give them props. That game was genuinely fun, and I'm disappointed that I haven't played it up until now. I'm also super happy that everybody who did play it didn't talk about it incessantly and ruin it for me. Because that was one of the reasons I never played it, was because everybody just said, yeah, it's a really great game. And I'm like, all right, cool. And that was it. Like there would be, I wouldn't walk up, like with Final Fantasy, people would literally talk about, oh yeah, did you get to this part yet? Oh yeah, I got to this part and I'm over to here and I got to do this. Have you found this yet? No, I haven't found this, but I'm looking for it. Do you know where it is? Oh yeah, you got to go over here and behind this and you do this and you hold one leg up and you fart and it's over here. It's like, oh crap, great. By the time I actually play a game, it's like, all right, well, I already know everything about it. I know how to beat it. So it's point in playing. I'll just watch it on YouTube now. But with South Park, there wasn't like, everybody didn't just talk about it all the time. So I really had no clue going into it what the hell I was playing. Yeah. Yeah. Like you're like your character is really some badass dragonborn or whatever. I'm like, oh, I thought that was just like a joke from Skyrim or some shit like that. This is actually like, no, that's you're actually some weird special dude. And how your character never talked throughout the entirety of it. It was a genuinely fun game. If you haven't played the Stick of Truth, go out and play it. I'm safe to say that, because if there's anybody under the age of 18 listening to this show, you should not be listening to this show. You should turn this off now. And please, for the love of God, do not go back to episode 101. It's definitely 18 plus. Honestly, I think that's a 30 plus show. Not something but anyways, back to...
But if you're the privacy...
yeah. And maybe with I don't know, if you like the Deckard Cain boy with the box. But anywho, so exclusives. I don't know. It was something that he said about it. And I haven't had a chance to dig up all the data on, or actually, I think I did try to look, and I think there was enough data for me to come to the conclusion that they A, do work, or B, do not work. But I definitely think exclusives worked back in the day when everything was single player. I just think it just pisses people off more. Like, I can't think of anybody, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're listening to this and be like, well, geez, I actually like exclusives because, it brings people over to whatever, and I get to play with more people. If you are, email us, G.N.A podcast, G.N.A and your DNA.1. Please, I'd love to hear from you. But I think nowadays people are just more pissed at exclusives. They really are working. I mean, you got those hardcore people that wanted to play Borderlands and that love the Borderlands series. And they're like, oh, Borderlands 3, I gotta get it no matter where it comes out. I have to get it. Oh, I'm getting it on PC. Oh, it's on Epic? I'm getting it on Epic. Okay, sure, then that worked. But literally.
But I'm guessing their tactic, when you have no ahead of you rebuild,
I agree.
Doing good, very successful. The only thing is but it doesn't do for the gaming community. Certainly.
No, I'm still here.
And it certainly doesn't do. Oh, you just sat really still for a second.
I did.
I bumped my keyboard.
I was enchanted by your voice. I was sitting here staring at you, like I'm listening to every word you say, man.
But at the same time, I actually slipped and whacked my. It highlighted something. I looked up and you're dead still. I'm like, fuck. So because it keeps freezing. Like as we've been this podcast, it keeps freezing on the video, so I keep just frozen.
No, I'm fucking
with you. I can't tell if you're fucking with me. Yeah. Now here's the next question for you, Cecil. I've completely lost my train of thought. So what the fuck?
I don't know. I think we're talking about South Park and tacos. I think that was the last thing I remember.
Oh yeah. Thank you. So back on my trail of how that linked me to my trail of thought, I have no idea. But what I mean, initially with the lead in, but it doesn't have crossplay. The companies themselves that are making the games, because obviously the platform, usually are different in the games. They've got a smaller audience. They've got a smaller market. Well, so really, it fucks everybody else.
But here's my argument on that. When you're talking about like PC exclusivity with Epic Store or whomever, like really, is your market that much smaller? Like people have PCs. I mean, I think a vast majority of people are not snobs. I am, where they're like, I'm not going to install another launcher. They're just like, fuck it, I don't care. What, Ubisoft's got a launcher? That's how I'm going to play Assassin's Creed? Okay, I'm downloading that. Oh, geez, Epic's got a launcher? That's how I'm going to play Doom? Okay, I'm downloading that. I don't think there's that. I definitely think I'm a minority of, like, literally. And what I was going to say before, and I kept losing my train of thought, is I still to this day have not played Borderlands 3. And I don't feel like I want, like, there's nothing that's going, I want to play it. If I had played it when it came out, like if it came out on Steam, where I have everything else that I've kind of invested everything I already have in, I probably would have been like, you know what? Other people are playing it that I know. Let me go, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to go play with them.
Exactly. But even so, but if you console exclusivity, right? I mean, the Epic versus, you can have multiple, but then when you buy the hardware, PS5 or Xbox Series X, or the previous generations, now it's like, I've got to actually some money into it. So you are going to have a smaller, customer base.
I agree.
Versus obviously the Steam version, Epic's a little bit different, but some people, they don't want to just don't want to installer, but that's not going to be as much of a, you will have Microsoft, you'll have Steam, you'll have Epic. Some people don't give a damn, they'll have like Ubisoft, you'll have like 20 of them, they're fucking.
But from a gaming,
when you take a look at
a gaming developer's point of view,
it's a pain in the ass.
So let's just talk PC for a second. Cause I mean, as I said, with exclusivity on a system like an Xbox or a PlayStation, if it's a single player exclusive game, I think that works because that drives people to your system, and you have to drive sales, and that's really one of the things you get. With multiplayer games, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation about games with crossplay, and just talking about PCs in general. I guess I know why, because Steam is getting a cut of anything that's sold on their marketplace, so Epic wants in on that. But in the end, I guess competition's, so I mean, again, competition would be a good thing. I don't know. I just don't think the animosity that you're creating, not only as a developer, but also as a storefront, I just don't know if that animosity, if that ill will is worth it to get an exclusive. Like if you've got a good product, if you've got a good storefront, like I would have no problem. And I think I've said this before, I would have no problem if Epic said, you know what, we're going to build a storefront, we're going to take our time, we're going to develop, we're going to make it good, and we're going to come in being a competitor to Steam. But they didn't. Like Ubisoft, and even Ubisoft said, you know what, fuck it, we're just going to sell our shit on Steam because we're making money. One way or another, we're making money. But like, Epic came in with a vastly inferior product and just tried to strong arm people by doing. I guess the argument could be played that, hey, Epic gives you a more cut, or they take less of a cut, and that's fine. If that's like the laurels you want to go in on, then sure, go ahead. If you want to make your game exclusive to Epic because you're going to make more money on Epic, then I think that's a rational choice as a developer or as a publisher or whatever that you do. And you live with the consequences of it. There are going to be plenty of people who just say, you know what? I don't want to go over to Epic because I don't like something about them. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't want to go over to Epic. So whatever.
The data, we have close to market shit.
Well, and that's
what the data says about the shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. I'm definitely curious about that. I would, and the thing is, I think it's hard to actually track that type of, you could track.
Or if they do have a proprietary, keep that under wraps as much as bring it out, because then it's like, we know.
Well, yeah, exactly. that's one of the big things why, like when Epic was suing Apple, they tried to throw Steam under the bus and be like, well, Steam's got to give all this information. And Steam's like, no, we don't. Well, like, yeah, you're pivotal on this conversation. No, we're not. Yeah, basically, like, no.
You Blue Falcon. No.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want to try to get old sales data, but no, it's not happening. But yeah, I don't know. I just, it made me think, and I guess I wanted to talk it out. And was just one of those like the whole thing between Epic and Steam, just, it seems so asinine. And I know that Epic had to figure out a way to get into the market. And I just don't agree with it. Don't agree with the tactics.
There is that tactics at all is good.
Any publicity is good publicity.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with that, because everybody knows it. Like, if you don't know of Epic right now, then you're living under a rock, because Epic's been in the news.
If you're in the gaming community,
shit, I would say people even outside of the gaming community would hear of Epic, because the Epic Apple lawsuit, even if you're just in like the cell phone community, that storefront community for Apple,
laptop,
Google. I mean, you're gonna run across it in some way, shape, or form. I mean, even the Unreal Engine, which is being used for a lot of other things, video game, like Epic is out there, so it's not like they're not known, but it's just,
True.
I keep going back to like, I can't in good conscience support that type of tactic, because the Epic's, look, I'm gonna be blunt. The Epic Store is shit. Like, there's nothing about that interface. There's nothing about that screams out to me that either. I like this. Like, this is bringing value to. The only thing it's bringing is
enjoy this. Actually, in the way it brings up, RPG, right? Mm-hmm. And you have a way of
like big things I like. Cloud save, like that's a godsend in so many different ways. Hell, when I was playing Borderlands and I stopped playing it for so long and then jumped back in, and somebody's like, yeah, I'm up to level whatever. I'm like, shit, I got a lot of catching up to do. I load up and there's my Siren level 25 or whatever. Yeah, I think it was 25, whatever level it was. But I'm like, shit, all right, I got a Siren, I can play. I jumped right in, started playing. I didn't have to spend, 2 days power leveling to get up to where he was, so I could.
Well, another good feeling like that.
Achievements. I mean, granted, achievements really don't, but they're nice little, like, all right, I got it. I did something. Yay. Like I was playing, oh God, that's coming out, House of Ashes. So Supermassive Games, like another soft spot for me. Aliens is a soft spot. No Man's Sky is a soft spot. And Supermassive Games is a soft spot, because it's far and few that I find a horror game that I dig. And Until Dawn by Supermassive Game PlayStation, fucking phenomenal. And it's right in that vein of, it's all, what are the quick action or quick time events? It's all quick time events, but it's playing through, it's like a choose your own adventure. And I love choose. So you get to, choose how your characters do what, or you get to make basic choices for them. And some of them are absolutely meaningless and do nothing. Some of them are super important, but all of them accumulate to, this is your story at the end. And that's what I really dug. It was like Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain was that one. Great game. Yeah. And it was actually one of the reasons why I liked the Mass Effect series up until the third one, or at least the very end of the third. Everything that you did seemed to matter. It shaped a story and what your story was. So if you were talking about the game with somebody else, the basic story was still there, but things that happened gave you discussion point. In Heavy Rain, well, did you cut your finger off? Oh, well, my guy cut his finger off. Well, no, you could actually get out of that without cutting your finger off. Well, did your kid live? Oh, you still were able to save your kid even though you didn't cut your finger off? Oh man, how'd you do that? It gave conversation. It gave you your story. And that's what I liked about
RPG. Project, a triangle strategy.
Oh, check it out.
It was also the direct, yes. So it's basically, there's like three main kind of, but you basically have a choice of, like how they align themselves, more power. All your choices you make, those characters govern how you're getting. And it's like a more massive Final Fantasy Tactics. All your choices directly with how they. And it's really Project Triangle Strategy. They now added some stuff where they corrected the flow, and because your choices are they added in the demo feedback. They added in where you can actually you can actually read the dialogue. Yes, they added back in.
See, now that's one of the things. Like, I'll pick up a game and I'll play it, and then I'll put it down for sometimes a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, and then I'll go back and go, shit, where was I? What did I say? That's an awesome feature. I like that.
Not only did they add that, but because now terrain for the map is very three-dimensional. A strategy of the layout, a mountain, like a tower right here down, how far does your height over?
I have the high ground, Anakin.
Exactly. The high ground matters. Terrain matters. The terrain, it's all fighting some fucking guys. Yeah, fuck now. So there's a lot, and it's pretty smart. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah,
I'm looking for it. If they say, hey, here's going to be a special edition physical, I'm fucking getting.
Well, actually, speaking of special edition physical, and I know you saw it on Facebook. This guy came.
Yes. Jealous. I want to see you play through it. I want to sit there right with you doing that.
For anybody who...
I mean, obviously virtually, but...
Yeah, so because this is an audio podcast and you can't see my video feed, I am actually holding a physical copy, a boxed set or boxed version of the 13th Doll, a fan-made game of the Seventh Guest. Seventh Guest was one of my favorite puzzle games growing up. Ryan Holtkamp. Yeah, I think I got it right. Who's actually been on the show. He created that game, and this was like his love child for the longest time, and he finally got it knocked out. It's a good game. It's fun. The puzzles are well thought out, but they're not impossible. Not like some of the friggin' Seventh Guest puzzles seem to. Definitely a fun game. Yeah. Definitely pick it up. And I even like that I was a little apprehensive at first, but I still like it that they did where you can walk around free from. It's a 3D map, but you can walk around.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was really
another thing,
super wild.
Another cool. They're coming out with Mario.
I did see that, and they've got Chris Pratt as Mario.
Pratt is Mario. Jack Black is Bowser.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of hate on Chris Pratt being.
Maybe he could puff. I mean, he's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'm not saying he's not.
I mean, with the old people like it, so fun. Even they set the bar.
Oh, with was it Dustin Hoffman? No, who was that? What the hell's his
Mario.
name? No, not Mario.
Oh, God.
It was John Leguizamo was Luigi.
Yeah, it's Luigi, yep.
Who was Bowser? I'm forgetting his name. I can see him. He was in Speed. He was in the game Hell, a cyberpunk thriller. Dennis Hopper. Yeah, it was Dennis Hopper. Yeah, it was Dennis Hopper. I'm sitting there going like, I thought it was Dennis Hopper, but you're like, no. I'm like, shit, who was it?
Oh, you said Hopper. I thought you said Dennis Hoffman.
Oh, did I say Dennis Hoffman? Who's Dennis Hoffman?
That just might be my...
Well, I guess we'll find out on the show later. I thought I said Dennis Hopper. I may have said Dennis Hoffman.
I'm also half deaf.
But you know what? I also said Ryan Holtkamp, so maybe that just merged together in your brain to get Dennis Hoffman.
Dennis Hoffenkamp.
Who's Dennis Hoffman? Dennis Hoffman, Dell Technologies. Yeah, I don't know who Dennis Hoffman is. Oh, no. Oh,
there's no telling what's this little brain.
Oh, God. Okay, no, I know who Dennis Hoffman is. Okay. He was in that My Left Shoe. He was Hook. In Hook with Robin Williams. He was Rain Man.
Dustin Hoffman.
Is that Dustin?
Dustin Hoffman.
Oh shit, that's Dustin Hoffman. Man, I am all over the fucking place tonight, man. I am getting things wrong.
And you're not even drinking, man.
That's the worst part. Well, I guess that's the best place to end on that note, me completely screwing things up. So, D, where can people find you at, man?
Well, people can find me on my website, microbreakgamers.com. I'm actually starting to update the articles again. I'm starting to write for it again, so pick that back up.
Nice.
I'm looking to do I'm trying to come up with ideas. I want to do another video for my website, or my YouTube channel finally. So I want to be updating that shortly, trying to do for that. Of course, I've got a Facebook page, microbreakgamers, Twitter, Twitch, except to pop in. Of course, I haunt the G.N.A. podcast Discord channels.
Very nice. And I'm Cecil Xavier, host. You can find me on Cecil vs. Games on Twitter, Cecil Xavier everywhere else. Ustream, Twitch, fucking Grindr, Tinder, I don't know, wherever, 3Plays, pick some place, Discord, Holocaust Museum, I don't know, you can find me pretty much Cecil Xavier. If you can't find me, tell me, I'll go there. Where else? Discords, I'm in all sorts of Discords, Thoughts and Shots Discord. TPC actually doesn't have a Discord anymore. They switched over to Gilded, and they're now TPC Gaming. Oh no, I kind of lost track of them, to be perfectly honest, but I should probably reach out to them, see if they want to come on the show and talk about it. Anyway, so we hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or favorite podcast places. We're on Google Play Music, Podcast Addict, Player FM, Stitcher, Spreaker, MyListen, Your Tuner, blah, 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 wherever. Spotify, iHeartRadio, your mom's old transistor radio, like that squeaky noise that you hear out of your front right tire, that's actually the G.N.A. podcast trying to play. So we're everywhere. If we're not someplace, let us know. We'll go there too. Yeah, that sound that Harley makes when it goes by, that's actually us at a deafening volume.
You make it sound like, and you go to a town with a lot of fog, something bad coming in a podcast.
Dude, we got to do that sketch. We got to do that video, man. We got to do that YouTube video. This guy walks in, it's all foggy. He picks up, like he's got this little hand resistor radio, obviously picks it up, starts going, and then we just pop out, welcome to the G.N.A. podcast. He's like, ah! We got to do that.
We're going to, except we make epic videos for YouTube and everything else. We got to make some good videos. We got to all get together like we did in Mass Nuttin'.
Yeah.
Except also make some cool actual film and video.
I think we could pull it off. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd definitely be fun. Well, anyways, I'm sure I missed something on announcing something, but you know, listen to one of the other episode endings. You'll find it there. Well, man, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good night.
You too, man.